Yeah. We're very close. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very close. What's the first one? Yeah.
Sarah, you have like
Derek.
you're good. Okay. We're getting ready to get started here in a minute or two. We do have some visitors from the public, so as we go through those parts, we'll just need to make sure we let everybody to get.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. Thank you all for being here tonight. And thank you to those that are online. Let's go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Jim Whitaker, Linda Barnhart, Eric Dahl, Bekana Norton,
Present?
Tim Lewis,
Present.
Dan Gant, Nick Deal,
Here.
Derek Smith.
Here.
We have approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right. And do we have any sunshine law speakers? No? Okay. All right. You're signed up for a particular project? Okay. All right. And then we have our meeting minutes from our last meeting.
Move to approve.
Second on that? Anybody want to second the meeting minutes, planning commission members?
Second, this is Tim Lewis.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Abstain due to absence, Derek Smith.
Here, abstain. Okay, we have a couple public hearings this evening, and we'll hear about the first one that's going to come up. You can read on all of them, Heather? Okay.
This is a public hearing for a request for major plan change approval. The project is the Lakes at Martinsburg Phase 1, plan change number 3. It's file number 85-03, type to 2000-014. The developer is Banbury Holdings LLC. The engineer is Gordon. It's located in the Opequon District, map 2, parcel 35. It's along Weaver Lane, approximately half mile west of its intersection with US Route 11 north of Martinsburg. The major plan change proposes changing the intersection at Pullman Way and Rushbrook Road from a roundabout to a T intersection. On July 6, 2004, a variance was requested to include the following: to allow a one-way street with a single parking breakdown lane, to allow parking on one side only of a curved pavement section, to allow an eyebrow and modified eyebrow street design, to create a center island between the eyebrow street and the main travel lane, to modify the cul-de-sac requirements to allow a center island, to modify the curb and gutter section to allow a modified 6-inch curb, modified roll top curb, and a modified mountable curb, to allow for a modified ditch section with a broad, shallow, 6-inch deep to convey the runoff from the 25-year storm to an underground storm sewer system. Planning Commission approved all requests with the exception of allowing a 6-inch curb for safety reasons. The county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of completion for this plan change on July 23rd, 2020, and stated that it meets the requirements for approval. Since the major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends approval of the major plan change.
Okay, thank you, Heather. All right, so since this is a public hearing, this will be the time that anyone can get up and speak to make comments or questions. But before that, we're going to see who's here as a representative for the project. Ryan Perks is online, okay?
Ryan, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, Ryan Perks from Gordon representing the project.
Okay, all right, so we have Ryan from Gordon. Okay. Okay, anyone from the public that wishes to come forward to speak on this major plan change? It's changing that roundabout to a T intersection at the lakes. Oh, we don't have any, and anybody online?
Hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just trying to find out where this roundabout is.
Where it was going to be? Okay. It does say that it was going to be at the intersection of Pullman Way and Rushbrook Road.
I think that's just confusing.
If someone wishes to speak, just talk to the microphone.
Yeah, so the.
Yeah, so Ryan,
My understanding is.
Go ahead up here and then let us know your name if you
Yeah,
could.
hey, I'm Chris Barnhart, I live out there and then like.
Okay, Chris, can you
Okay.
sign in, please, for public comment?
So the intersection of Pullman and Rushbrook, there is no roundabout there currently. So how are they going to change it from a roundabout to a T intersection? Makes no sense. It's already a T intersection.
Ryan, did you hear the person with the public comment?
Yes, it was approved as a roundabout originally, and then the developer decided to eliminate that roundabout and just replace with a T intersection.
So it's approved, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's approved on the plan drawing, but it had not been constructed yet. So this plan change is to change the drawing from having the roundabout to the T before any construction occurs at that location.
Right, they have constructed it in the interim, but that was at their own risk.
Which is not surprising for anybody associated with the lakes. Gordon, anybody, they just kind of do what they want out there at that location. So I say no, don't approve the change. Make them go back and do what they were supposed to do.
Well, the change is to catch up the plans themselves to get the approval to do what they did. Is that?
They've already done what they wanted to get approved.
The paperwork will match up.
So you're going to retroactively allow them to do something that they did against approval to begin with.
I don't believe that's the path that has been taken on this one. And Ryan, feel free to jump in. The way I'm looking at the drawings is Rushbrook and Pullman Way meet at an intersection. On the drawings, this plan change is to change roads on paper. And the drawings, the old drawing was in compliance, and the new drawing, the new proposed change is in compliance. So tonight, they're asking to approve the change in the drawing. It's not related to the physical location and physical construction. Is that correct, Ryan?
I mean, they went ahead and constructed it knowing that we had staff support and knowing the likelihood that this would be approved tonight was pretty much secured because they are intending to go ahead with home building in that area in the near term. So, you know, a developer takes on some risks in that instance, but they felt confident moving forward, knowing that the staff had supported it.
So against public opinion, the developer and builder did something that they weren't supposed to do. They went against the original plans, which were for a traffic circle, and instead built what would be a T intersection eventually, but right now it's only a 90-degree angle. And now they're trying to retroactively correct their mistakes so that they can look good with the county. I say no. Don't allow it. It's that simple. Make them do what they're supposed to do originally. Not difficult.
I think the change that they want to make is within the regulations. Right?
Do you want to hear all of it?
Yes. Okay. We're going to let Ryan answer if anybody else has additional comments.
So my name's Bradley Tootle. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but so in that community that we live in, it's our home. They gave us a design that they were gonna follow, and then now they're having the public hearing after the change has already been made. And the second thing is being a part of that HOA in that community, which the developer controls right now. If we were to do that on our property, then they would want us to tear our fence down or whatever the case may be. So I just think that they're not following the same rules that they put out there, and they're not following the way that the procedures were supposed to go in the first place.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else present that would like to speak from the public? Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
And a second.
Derek Smith.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that's Ryan.
But Ryan, we also have Dirk that has logged in, so between the two of you, if you could respond to the process that got us to this point where we're at the public hearing with the changes that are proposed.
Sure. So that intersection was originally proposed as a roundabout back when the plan was in sketch plat. You know, that was probably 2005, 2006. At that time, there was potential for a through connection from the lakes development to a proposed development to the west. I believe it's Archer's Rock. So you were going to have a fairly major connection between two large communities there, and that roundabout was intended to serve as the rear entrance point to the community. In the interim, you know, after the residential development downturn in 2008, those connection plans kind of went away. So the roundabout really doesn't have a traffic use there at the backs of the development. It serves, I think there's about 60 or so lots served on either side of that. So it's a fairly low volume road. And they just determined that they did not need the roundabout at that location any longer. So the T intersection will serve that perfectly fine. And will be less of a maintenance item to the HOA it's gonna be less paving, less curb in that area long term. So we think it's a reasonable change and it's supported by, staff, and would ask that you go ahead and approve it.
This is Kirk Stansberry, County Engineer. The design is compliant with what the ordinance has. In fact, the current ordinance doesn't even have a design standard for the circles. That was something that was worked out with the former administration staff for that design. And it does have some traffic calming if you do have large volumes. But Brian pointed out it's probably dropped off to a car a minute coming through there during the peak hour. So it is within the guidelines of the ordinance, and that is why we do not have any issues with it on the engineering side. That's all.
Thank you.
Could everybody hear? Does that help explain anything a little bit?
I think there's just ongoing issues with that entire development,
Okay,
and we can set your.
okay, so,
Right. And you'll maybe. Not necessarily that, but.
okay, so you guys have dissatisfaction otherwise with your community at the moment?
we-
Well, your comments are appreciated, and it is about the major plan change for the T intersection. The recommendations are made based on the design standards being within the ordinance. And as they explained, the roundabout was put in there originally 10+ years ago to connect to another property. So when that went away, at this time, do we want to make a motion, or is there any other questions for Mr. Perks?
Public hearings.
We did close the public hearing.
Okay, well, my question is, what else are they gonna add in our knowledge? We should know now. We're here because we don't know what our voice is. How do we fight things that are going on? When did we get a petition to get change of our own? I mean, that's just a general question. Like,
Folks, the public hearing is over. This one proceed.
You were just asking a question.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just
Okay. Okay. At this time, we'd like to have a motion.
The attorney.
Thanks for your comments. If you,
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
okay. At this time, do we have a motion, planning commission members?
This is Tim. I'll make a motion that we accept staff recommendations for the subdivision ordinance change as per presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion passed. Thank you. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to move on to our next public hearing. You want to read about that to us, Heather?
Sure. This public hearing is a request for a waiver. The project is Matthew Cordell preliminary final, file number 2008-140. The developer is Brandon Cordell, surveyor is Greg Yabernetsky. It's located in the Arden District, tax map 4, parcel 2.16. Property is approximately 0.45 miles north on Route 902 over 78, also known as Divine Drive. The project proposes the creation of one 5.27 acre parcel and one 6.03 acre parcel to be served by private well and septic. Developers requesting a waiver to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009, Section 305.4.1, requiring lots to have frontage on a West Virginia Department of Highway road to proceed through the preliminary final process. Engineering staff does not foresee any technical issues. However, the existing 40-foot right-of-way will need to be extended to reach proposed lot 3. Planning staff concurs with engineering staff and recommends approval of the waiver to section 305.4.1, requiring lots to have frontage on a DOH road to proceed through the preliminary final process.
Thank you. Do we have representation for this project? Okay, thank you. All right, as part of the public hearing portion, do we have anybody here from the public that would like to speak to this project? In person or on the phone or online? Okay, that looks like we're all right. We don't have anybody here to speak about from the public. So can I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any questions from planning staff for our gentlemen that are here representing? Okay, hearing none. Can we have a motion on the waiver, please?
Mr. Chimbliss, I make a motion, we accept planning staff, recommendation for approval of the waiver, section 305.4.1, requiring lots to have frontage on West Virginia DOH Road, and proceed to the preliminary final process.
Second, Derek Smith.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Martinsburg Land Warehouse.
This is a public hearing for a request for waiver. Project is Martinsburg Land Warehouse, file number 2008-147, tied to 2008-146. The developer is Martinsburg Land LLC. The engineer is Pannoni Associates Incorporated. It's located in the Arden District, map 18, parcel 12.3. It's located off of US Route 11, Winchester Avenue, approximately 0.38 miles south of Country Route 34, Nadenbush Lane. This project proposes a 1 million square foot warehouse to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009, Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3 for parking requirements, and to Article 7, Section 706 to not install curb in parking area. Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3 outlines parking requirements for industrial uses. There are two options. 1 parking space for every 600 square feet of gross floor area used for industrial purposes, or 1 parking space for every 2 employees on the 2 largest shifts, whichever is greater, plus 1 parking space for every 400 square feet of office administration area. The developer is asking for a waiver to the requirement of 1 space for every 600 square feet of gross floor area for industrial purposes, and intends to adhere to the requirement of 1 parking space for every 2 employees on the 2 largest shifts. This parking calculation requires 175 spaces, and 250 spaces are being proposed. Article 7, Section 706 requires curbing in parking areas. The developer is proposing to not provide curb sections except in specific owner-selected locations and as may be required at West Virginia Department of Highway entrances. This design is intended to allow an open stormwater management sheet flow to adjacent grassline swales and to not concentrate flow in curb sections. Engineering staff recommends approval of the waiver to Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3. Engineering staff also recommends approval of the waiver to Article 7, Section 706, but reserves the right to modify specific curb locations as may be required by the ordinance at the preliminary plan stage. Planning staff recommends approval of the waiver, Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3, to allowing the parking calculation of 1 space for every 2 employees on the 2 largest shifts, whichever is greater, plus 1 parking space for every 400 square feet of office administration area. Planning staff also recommends approval of the waiver to Article 7, Section 706, allowing no curb sections in proposed parking areas except in specific owner-selected locations and those areas required at West Virginia DOH entrances.
Thank you, Heather. Representation for this project present or on the phone?
Is there anyone online to represent this project?
Okay. Do we have anybody here from the public that would like to make comments? Please state your name. I think you've already signed in.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Rodney Trenier, the white cap here behind me. We are business owners here in the county, 15 years. Employed a lot of people over that 15-year period. I bring that up for the purposes of this discussion. Everything that's been involved that you stated in the waiver that they are requesting has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. This is, I am not, well, let me say this also before I get started. I own the property to the very front of the construction area, and my house is also there too. The property, we need acres if you have this flat. Since you're here, we are just with you today for this project. Okay. Great. Let me also state that I'm not against the development of the warehouse. It's not my concern. It's probably better than having to be that corner of town or something. If here's my concerns, there's a bunch. They have a proposed entry road coming in, trying to get the northeast and south straight out here. So coming in from Tabor Station Road heading south, they are proposing one-way entry road. And to do that, they are within the.
Sir, could I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
It sounds like you would be better served to come speak at the sketch plan public hearing, because the drawing that you're talking about, I was looking for it in the packet and I remember seeing it, but it's not in our packet because that's not the discussion point for tonight. Tonight is the waiver. So I think all of your, I don't want your comments to be made and then not have them be relevant, but if you come during the sketch plan public hearing, then they would be relevant to the decisions being made.
Interesting, that's, for people in the county.
Good. Feel free to continue, but I just wanted to share.
I mean, when is the hearing for the sketch plan?
It has not been approved yet, so that it's not scheduled. It's still under review.
Okay.
And this waiver is part of
Correct.
how that review will
Yeah.
take place.
So everything you're talking about in the back of the runoff, that doesn't concern me at all. But there's a lot of land issues involved. No contact us about what they propose and encroachment. Okay?
Did you sign your name in with contact information?
I'll put that on.
Yeah.
You could do that. Then reach out.
I mean, you'd be welcome to have your comments come in and be on the record in writing prior to that.
Can I speak at that?
It will be a public hearing, yes, sir.
Ready until next time.
Thank you very much. Okay. As per the request for waiver, would there be anybody else present to speak from the public? Or by telephone or online? No? Okay. Planning Commission members, could we have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. As far as representation goes, do we have anything from Planning Commission members that they would ask questions about?
This is Tim Lewis. I'm just having a real hard time figuring out exactly where this is on Route 11. In relationship to Dayton Bush Lane. Seems to me like there's a lot of residential houses on both sides of that road coming south. Is that right there before you start down the first dip?
It's adjacent to the new Clorox facility. So there are some residential properties on either side of it, but it's the large vacant area,
That fronts right on 11.
yeah, between Route 11 and the Clorox facility.
And the Clorox facility has where is the road that's going to go back to it off of Route 11? I thought that was coming off Corning Way.
Yes, the access road for Clorox is Corning Way. This property's access would be Route 11, I believe.
Yep. Okay.
So they're back to back.
Okay. You want that in two motions, Heather, or just one?
It's two separate waivers, so if you could make two, that would be good.
Okay, I'll make a motion on the first waiver approval for Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3, allowing the parking calculation to be one parking space for every 2 employees.
Second, Derek Smith.
Do we want to include the contingencies mission by engineering and staff?
And Tim, in your motion, if you could just add that that includes the contingencies of the staff mentioned.
Okay,
If
so
that's your motion.
for office and administration area,
I think it was, the county engineer reserved the,
He reserves the right to modify specific curb locations.
no, that's on the second
that's right.
article,
Yeah.
for the
These
parking
are the two separate
areas.
motions.
Okay, well, he said Article 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah,
is on
8,
Article
Section
8.
801.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
All right.
Never mind, Tim.
Yep.
So then the second motion for the second waiver would be what we were just discussing.
On 7, okay, all right, sorry, I misspoke.
So we're gonna vote on the first one before we do the second one, or do them together? We have a motion on the first waiver.
That's
Yes.
correct. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you for that one. And our next motion?
Yep. And then I'll make a motion for the second approval for waiver, Article 7, Section 706, allowing no curb sections in the proposed parking areas except in specific owner-selected locations and those areas required by the West Virginia Department of Highway.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. We have Stonecrest.
This is a public hearing for Stonecrest PUD, request for waiver for Stonecrest PUD lots C6 and C7, preliminary final. File number 2008-14, tied to 2007-103. Developers Straight Arrow LLC, the engineers Fox and Associates. It's in the Hedgesville District, map 28, parcel 17.4. It's located on the west side of Cerritos Trail, approximately 250 feet south of Sabrona Parkway. This project proposes the creation of one 2.04 acre lot and one 1.24 acre lot to be served by public water and sewer. Both are proposed commercial lots, and lot C6 is currently under preliminary plan review for storage units. The developer is requesting a waiver to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009, Section 305.4.1, requiring lots to be a minimum of 2 acres and to have frontage on a West Virginia Department of Highway road to proceed through the preliminary final process. Engineering staff recommends approval of the waiver to Section 305.4.1, requiring lots to be a minimum of 2 acres and to have frontage on the DOH road to proceed through the preliminary final process. Planning staff makes the same recommendation.
And we have a representative present.
Good evening, Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the applicant.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from the public present or on the phone or online to speak on this project? No? Okay. Motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second, Derek Smith.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Stianovich? Do we have a motion, Planning Commission members, if no questions?
Chair Melissa, make a motion to accept staff recommendations for approval of the waiver, section 305.4.1, requiring lots to be a minimum of 2 acres and to have footage on West Virginia Department of Highway roads and proceed through the preliminary final process.
Second, Derek Smith.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Planning Commission.
Our next public hearing is for Seder Development.
This is a public hearing for a request for sketch plan advancement. Project is Seder Development, file number 2007-064. The developer is ILA Properties and the engineer is Cheat Road Engineering. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 6, parcel 16. Project is located at the intersection of US Route 11 and Jarrettstown Road. Project proposes 168 townhome lots, 1 maintenance building, and 20 storage units on approximately 17.9 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 17th, 2020, the county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Thank you. Is there a representative for this project? Okay. Do we have anybody from the public to speak for this project? Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Public hearing's closed. Do we have any questions for the representative?
If not, I make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Apple Valley Plaza?
This is a public hearing for a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Apple Valley Plaza, file number 43-19, tied to 2007-062. The developer is Dulles Marketing Services, LLC. The engineer is DeMagno Consulting Incorporated. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 6, parcels 16.9, 16.1, 16.14, 17, and 1 and 3.1. Property is located on West Virginia Highway 51 and on the Winchester and Western Railroad. Project proposes a commercial tract with storage units and warehousing to be served by public water and sewer. On December 12, 2019, the developer was granted a waiver to section 501.2.h of the 2009 subdivision ordinance, requiring a minimum 50-foot setback from the adjacent railroad right-of-way, contingent upon the railroad's approval, for no response within 30 days of sending the letter. On July 6, 2020, the developer was denied a waiver to setback requirements listed in section 503B. On August 3rd, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch to the preliminary plan stage.
thank you. Representing the project?
Yes, Andy Demagna, I'll represent that for the class.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the public present or by the telephone to speak on the project? No? Okay, they're all for others. All right. Planning Commission members, will you make a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions for Mr. DeMagna? No questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, number 7, public hearing.
This is a public hearing for a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Seasonal Landscaping Services, file number 2006-001, tied to 021-20. The developer is Rodney Busey, the engineer is Greenway Engineering. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 10, parcel 71, at 9109 Winchester Avenue. Project proposes a 3,200 square foot garden center and landscaping services business. On July 6, 2020, the developer was granted a waiver to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance, section 801.1, pertaining to paving off-street parking. On August 26, 2020, the county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Thank you. We have representing the project.
Jamie McLean, Greenway Engineering.
Okay, the public hearing portion. Do we have anybody that wishes to speak on this project for seasonal landscaping services?
Move public hearing be closed.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any questions for Greenway Engineering?
I just want to make sure that I'm reading the map correctly. The entrance to this property is on the south end of that property going towards Park Hill.
Yes, that is correct.
Any other questions? If not, can we have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations and advance the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Our next public hearing is for North Mountain Substation.
Derek, did you recuse yourself from that one?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I heard that. Okay.
I sent over the chat. Should I say it next time?
Do all of the above just to make sure we catch it.
Gotcha.
Thank
All
you.
right. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Next public hearing is request for sketch plan advancement. Project is North Mountain Substation, file number 2007-063 tied to 013-20. Developer is First Energy, the engineer's Triad Engineering. It's located in the Hedgesville District, map 22, parcel 3, at the intersection of Ridge Road North and Hammond's Mill Road. This project proposes a 6,000 square foot electrical substation on approximately 2.3 acres, which will not be served by utilities. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 13th, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary stage.
Thank you. We have representation.
Eric, can you hear us?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you are.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have anybody from the public that wishes to speak or ask questions at this time?
Move public hearing be closed. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Do we have questions of the representation? If we do not, could we entertain a motion, please?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations and advance the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jackson Hills.
Okay, this is a public hearing for a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Jackson Hills, file number 2007-036. The developer's Townhomes Rental LLC, engineers Greenway Engineering. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 13, parcels 42 and 43. Project is located off of Specs Run Road and Chandler's Glen Drive, approximately a half mile from Route 11. This project proposes 99 townhome lots on approximately 16.68 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 13th, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
This is Derek Smith. I'm going to recuse myself from this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Representative.
Jamie McLean, Greenway Engineering.
As for the public hearing portion, do we have anybody that would like to speak?
Move public hearing be closed.
Second? From anybody?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions for Greenway Engineering? Is this within Chandler's Glen? Adjacent to? Okay. No other questions? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. That concludes our public hearings we have for this evening. Gotcha. Yes, at this time, we will move on for our two items under preliminary final plat approval.
This is a request for preliminary final plat approval. The project is Justin Glassford prelim final, file number 2008-138, tied to 12-20. Developer is Justin Glassford. The surveyor is Gary Fry. It's located in the Opequon District, map 19, parcel 13.8. Property is situated on the east side of West Virginia Route 45/3, Files Crossroad. Property starts approximately 0.18 of a mile north from its intersection with West Virginia Route 40, Weinbrenner Road, and continues north along the frontage for approximately 0.35 miles. Project proposes the creation of one 16.6 acre parcel and one 21.57 acre residue to be served by private well and septic. County engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval on August 10th, 2020, stating a review of the project has been completed and found to be in compliance. Since the project is found to be complete and compliant with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance, staff recommends approval of the preliminary final plat.
Thank you, Heather. Do we have anybody here representing this project this evening?
Gary Fry is online. Gary, can you hear us? We've unmuted him and there's a little.
Yeah, he has to,
So he's raising his hand?
he has to unmute.
Okay, Gary, we need you to unmute yourself and then we should be able to hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Learning what all the buttons mean, right?
Yeah, I pushed it a couple times, wouldn't unmute.
Okay.
I thought that might be an omen.
Okay, so do we have anybody with questions from Planning Commission, members, Planning Commission, for Mr. Fry on this particular project? If we do not, can we have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for approval of the preliminary final plat.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Thank you.
Our next one is Stonecrest PUD.
This is a request for preliminary final plat approval. The project is Stonecrest PUD Lot C6 and C7, file number 2007-103, tied to 2008-154. The developer is Straight Arrow LLC. The engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 28, parcel 17.4. The property is located on the west side of Cerritos Trail, approximately 250 feet south of Severna Parkway. Project proposes the creation of one 2.04 acre lot and one 1.24 acre lot to be served by public utilities. Both are proposed commercial lots, and lot C6 is currently under preliminary plan review for storage units. The county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of approval on August 2nd, 2020, stating that a review of this project had been found to be complete and compliant. The waiver was heard under item 6D this evening and was approved. And upon that approval, staff finds the project to be complete and in compliance with the 2009 subdivision ordinance, and would recommend approval of the preliminary final plat.
Okay. Representing the project.
Good evening, Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the project and the applicant.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have any questions for Mr. Sianovich? If there are no questions, could we have a motion, please?
Motion to accept staff recommendation and recommend approval of the preliminary final plat.
And
Second.
okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we move on to preliminary plan approvals. Spring Mills PUD.
This is a request for preliminary plan approval, Spring Mills PUD, commercial lot 29B. File number 2007-038 tied to 008-20. The developer is Rental Properties Incorporated. The engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 14, parcel 1.13. Property is located on the east side of TJ Jackson Drive, approximately 0.35 miles south of Hammond's Mill Road. This project proposes the addition of 210 storage units to the existing 226 self-service storage units on TJ Jackson Drive. This project does not propose water or sewer utilities. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On July 16, 2020, the county engineer issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was complete and found to be in compliance. Since the preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the preliminary plan to the final plat stage.
Thank you, Heather. Representing the project.
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the project.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, questions for Mr. Sianovich on Spring Mills PUD? A motion?
Go ahead, Nick, or Eric, Derek, I guess.
I move to recommend, or to accept staff recommendation and advance to preliminary plan and final stage plat. Final plat.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Bella Vista.
This is a request for preliminary plan approval. The project is Bella Vista, file number 032-19. Developer is Rushmeyer Limited. Engineer is K&D Development. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 1, parcel 2. It's 0.4 miles from the intersection of Vineyard Road and along Grade Road. Project proposes 39 single-family lots and 2 residue lots on approximately 120.71 acres to be served by private water and sewer. At the October 21st, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted an exception to section 705 to not install sidewalks. On May 19th, 2020, the county engineer issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was complete and found to be in compliance. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the preliminary plan to final plat stage.
Thank you. All right, do we have anybody here representing Bella Vista?
He was here.
Okay, so we had Dan Llewellyn from K&D Development. At our meeting may have run a little longer than he had anticipated, so he's not logged in.
Okay. Okay. So we had Dan, we don't now. Do we have any discussion from planning commission members?
There are no questions. I make the motion, we accept staff recommendations for advancement of the preliminary plan to the final plat stage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Final plat determinations.
This is a request for final plat determination for Whispering Pines Townhomes, Phase 1, lots 135 to 179, file number 2007-107, tied to 71-02. Developers Dan Ryan Builders, the engineers Fox and Associates. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 10, parcel 50, 50.4, 50.5, and 50.6. Property is located on the east side of Cheshire Road and south of Middleway Pike at the end of Whispering Pine Drive and Scotch Pine Drive. This project proposes 45 townhome lots on 8.88 acres to be served by public water and sewer. On February 5th, 2007, the Planning Commission denied the request for modification of section 90211 of the Berkeley County subdivision regulations to allow 5 feet of the required 20 feet between the rear yards of townhomes on individual townhome lots. At the April 15th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted to approve a waiver to Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1A, 8 of the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance, requiring a minimum of 1 parking space per attached dwelling unit to be off-site. On August 5th, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry reviewed the project and found it to be compliant with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 5th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Victor. Representing the project?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the project.
Planning Commission members, any questions?
There are no questions. Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations on the final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing consideration of final approval at the October 5th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like this is the last item on the agenda tonight. Final plat determination.
This is a request for final plat determination for Butler's Bridge, Phase 2, lots 33 to 53 and 87. File number 2008-155, tied to number 48-05. The developer is Butler's Bridge Land LLC. The engineer is Gordon. It's located in the Hedgesville District, map 37, parcels 27 and 27.4. Property is located at the intersection of Ridge Road South and Dry Run Road. The developer is proposing 21 single-family lots on approximately 7.64 acres to be served by public water and sewer. There have been no variances or waivers for this project. At the June 18th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, Planning Commission voted to grant the request for consideration, granting a one-year extension with an expiration date of June 30th, 2019. Final plat was approved October 15th, 2018, contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $289,536. That surety was not received. The final plat was resubmitted May 17th, 2019 for resignature and administrative approval. That approval dated June 4th, 2019 and was contingent upon a surety in the same amount. And that plat expired that plat approval expired September 27th, 2019. The current status is the final plat resubmitted and required to repeat the final plat Planning Commission approval process. On August 24th, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of completion stating that a review of this project had been completed and was found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance, the final plat determination. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 5th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Heather. Do we have anybody here representing Butler's Bridge?
Yes. Clark Butler, Butler's Bridge Land LLC.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like Clark is there, but Ryan Perch from Gordon is also here.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Do we have any questions from Planning Commission members? If not, a motion, please.
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 5th, 2020 Planning Commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, staff. Do we have anything?
Nothing additional.
Nothing additional? Anything additional?
Nothing for me.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Everybody's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you guys on the phone.